guys, my name is Chelsea and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we have my November book haul. So I think we have a pretty small book haul this month. Basically everything I have in here minus a couple things were all pre-orders. So, are you gonna be quiet? We'll see about that. But like I was saying, basically everything I have here is pre-orders minus a couple things that I got at a used bookstore. We're actually gonna jump into those ones first. So the first two things that I ended up buying were children's books for Presley here. I am in a big kick with children's books because of the fact that we do story time at least 2 times a day. And we've been rereading and rereading and rereading all of his children's books. We bought these actually 2 weeks ago, and I want to say I've already reread these at least 10 times each with him. But I really love the storybooks that I end up picking out for him because I pick ones that I know I'm gonna be okay rereading. So the ones that we have here are just 2 Dr. Seuss books that I got at Bookman's. So on sale technically because they're like used books, but we have the Foot book. This one is a very young style, very repetitive, but also really cute. And then we also have I Can Read With My Eyes Shut. I mostly picked this up because I remember reading it when I was a child, although I did not remember what it was. But it had reading and books on it, obviously. But it has a really good message as well, basically letting kids know to keep their eyes open and observe the world around them and take in all the things that they can learn. And so again, just really adorable. So these were the 2 children's picture books that I purchased while we were at Bookman's. And then also while I was there, I also picked up Leven, Thumps, and the Gateway to Foo. This is the first in the Leven Thumps series by Obert Sky. I actually picked this up on a recommendation from one of you guys. You left a comment on one of my videos saying you were reading this with your children, and I had heard of this, but I wasn't too sure about it. Like, I haven't really thought of it in a while, but while I was at the used bookstore, it was there in a really nice condition for the paperback, and it was only like $4.50, so we definitely picked this up. I don't know too much about it. I have a feeling that it's a fantasy-ish magical book. I don't think it's necessarily, I don't know, it gives me sort of like in between Harry Potter, Percy Jackson vibes, so like that sort of genre, but also I love this little like creature guy down here. I don't know if you guys can see it because it's such a shiny book. But that guy right there, I'm very curious about it, so yes, we had to pick this up. And then we're basically getting into the pre-orders. So the first one that I have here is going to be the Clockwork Angel 10th Anniversary Edition. This one is the UK edition. I, from everything that I have seen, did not see a US edition, so I actually pre-ordered the UK version from Waterstones what seems like forever ago, basically as soon as it was announced that you could purchase it. I do have the 10th anniversary for the City of Bones, and these look so nice together, and so I really had to purchase it. I personally enjoy the Infernal Devices a little bit more than the Mortal Instruments, just with character and the development of the story. Although the Mortal Instruments is always near and dear to my heart because it was one of the first series, especially after like Harry Potter and everything like that, that I absolutely loved and could not put down. But this is just such a gorgeous edition. We also, this is hard to do with baby on your lap, but we also have really pretty end papers. These are illustrated by Cassandra Jean. Oh, here. Bessie? You're okay. You're gonna spit it out? Are you still gonna be cranky? And then the back. So we obviously have Tessa and Will. Those are illustrated by Cassandra Jean. We also have some other character profile pictures in the front of the book. All major characters from this series, all illustrated by Cassandra Jean, and I just absolutely love this cover. I absolutely love this series. I absolutely love what they're doing with the 10th anniversary ones. I really wish we had the rest of both series in these really, really pretty editions because they are gorgeous. They remind me of like old books that you would see basically like either in old pictures or like period movies where it's just like they almost look like they're sort of like the cloth or leather bound. This one I do believe is like a cloth bound, but they're just so, so pretty. Then we also have Call Down the Hawk by Maggie Stiefvater. This is the first in the like Dreamer trilogy spin-off of the Raven cycle. I don't even know if I should really be admitting this, but I have never finished the Raven cycle. I have all 4 books in paperback, and that was my big issue with finishing the series, is it seemed like it took forever for the Raven King to come out in paperback, like an extra long time. And it does happen like that in publishing every so often. They want to make sure people are buying the hardcover first. But I was waiting to read them all in paperback, so I have read the first 3, never finished the last one. And it is at that point where I want to reread the whole series, and I just haven't found the time yet with him. I really was hoping to do it within the last month or 2, and it just never happened. But I want to reread those obviously before I start this one, but I absolutely had to purchase it. There was no getting around it. Another pre-order we have here is the Guinevere Deception by Kiersten White. This is another book that I was really, really anticipating, and the cover is even more gorgeous than I realized. All of the gold parts are actually like glittery gold, and it's freaking gorgeous. This is a King Arthur sort of legend. I went through a huge King Arthur phase around the first year or 2 when Merlin, the TV show, came out, and could not get enough of it. I even slogged my way through some of the like more older written King Arthur legends. I do not do very well with older style English, and I did it anyway. But this one, I actually have no idea anymore. Okay, so this one basically is doing with Guinevere. That makes sense. There are magical elements, there is a secret that Guinevere has, and I am very intrigued by this because, like I said, I went through a huge King Arthur phase, and it's been a while since I've read another a King Arthur centered book. I have read and reread Song of the Sparrow by Lisa Ann Sandell. That is a book that I've actually owned since either junior high or maybe beginning of high school. It's a book told in verse, and it's from a minor character's point of view, but I absolutely love that book, and I keep coming back to it basically once every other year or so. So I'm very excited to have another King Arthur centered sort of story with a female as the main character, and it seems like those fantasy magical elements. Also though, we have a gorgeous like sword, probably Excalibur I'm gonna assume, and crown on our naked hardcover, and like I said, book even more gorgeous than I really assumed was going to be. Next, we have some Boom Comics issues. So these are gonna be issues 8 and then 9 of the Buffy the Vampire Slayer comics from Boom Comics. These are like the new Buffy ones. I did talk about some of the first issues in my wrap-up from last month. I personally order the issues that Kevin Wada has designed. So for number 8, we have Anya, and for number 9, we have Drusilla. I absolutely love his art style. I've been following him on Twitter and Instagram for a while. He's also the artist that did the covers for Carry On and Wayward Son by Rainbow Roll, and I absolutely love this. I don't buy issues very often. I usually wait for the volumes of like, I think there's 4 issues per volume, at least for this series. I usually wait for those to come out before I read them, but I'm sort of collecting all of the issues, and so these ones I pre-ordered when they announced the Drusilla one, which is why it took a little while for them both to come in. I usually end up doing that where I like wait for the second one to be announced, so I'm doing 2 at once. Saves me a little bit of shipping, and so yes, had to have these. And then we also had a Kickstarter come in this month. So this is a Kickstarter that I helped fund sometime last year. It has been quite a while, and I am very, very patient with Kickstarters. I sometimes forget about them until they actually come in, especially with the graphic novel ones, because that's usually what I end up funding on there besides enamel pins. And so this one, they were doing the funding for the second volume. I didn't have the first one, so I ended up funding the tier where I could get both the first and second volume because it looked super, super interesting. And so these are going to be the Agents of the Realm graphic novels by Mildred Lewis, I'm going to assume. So this is volume 1. Volume 1 is a very, very thick, chunky book. Like this is hefty and very, very floppy, but it's super interesting. So this is following some magical ladies I actually don't really know. So on the back, when they said college would be a magical experience, pretty sure they didn't mean like this. Shortly after beginning their first year of college at Silvermount University, 5 young women discover that they've each been chosen to help protect not just our world, but a newly discovered sister dimension as well. As they venture forward through their college years, their lives start to take on forms of their own, providing them with new opportunities to learn just how much power they have over them. So, college, women, magic, a gorgeous art style, and so I'm very much involved. Like, it's simple coloring and everything, like it's not too in your face. This is going to be really hard to show you guys with a baby, but I had to pick it up. So this is volume 1, and then this one is volume 2. The one thing, like I said, so book 1 was a very, very chunky book. Volume 2, not so much. It's like half the size of volume 1, so I'm a little interested about why they ended up doing that. I'm assuming they just had a lot more of the comic done at one time when they first did the Kickstarter for volume 1, whoever knows when that was. And then they decided to do a much more manageable amount in the second volume. And so I personally got to see the huge discrepancy in, you know, when they came in, because I didn't get to see the volume 1 beforehand. But this is still a really nice sized graphic novel and everything. I just thought it was weird of how big of a size difference there was. But like, if this was the size of each book, it makes complete sense to me. They just look a little bit weird next to each other when it's like such a big chunker here and a thinner one there, but I'm very excited to jump into those. And then the last book I have on here, like I've been doing for the last 2 months, now should be the 3rd month, we have a chapbook. So this is for Presley's 3rd month. We have an adorable little picture here on the front. Like I've said before, I absolutely love these books, so I'm not going to get too much into them. But basically, these are photo books that you can make yourself. You get to choose what pictures you have in them, if you want a hardcover or a softcover. I've just absolutely been loving them. One thing I did want to mention is on the back, you can see that we have like the corners peeling from whatever coating is on this book. All I had to do was contact customer service, and I sent them a picture so that they knew exactly what I was talking about, and they completely just remade it and sent me a new one. The good one's actually upstairs. Because I already had one down here, I didn't feel like going upstairs and grabbing that one to show you guys, but let me just tell you, the quality on that one is perfect. It's the same as the previous 2, and this, you know, I just have some of my favorite pictures of Presley, you know, with me and Leon. And it's just like, look at that little picture there. Look at that little face. He's adorable. These are adorable. I absolutely love them. And if you guys are interested in checking out Chatbooks, I do have a code that I will leave down below that gives you $10 off your first order with them. And $10 off is basically the main price of a 6x6 softcover book with 30 pages. You can obviously do more than that if you want, because I do these ones that I have here are the 6x6 hardcover, and we almost always end up between mid-80s to high 90s lately. I cannot get over how much I love these. Probably just because of how much I love my son, and this is just an easy way to keep up with all his pictures instead of having to do like a scrapbook or anything like that. I freaking love these. So those were all the books that I have for November. I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up to let me know. Subscribe to this channel if you would like to see more videos. I have videos up Mondays and Thursdays, so I will see you then. Bye!